Before we get started, let me just say today's date is February 28th, 2018. We are meeting with Amy Ford and the branch manager of Lexington
Park Library.
Yes. So first, thank you for meeting with us. But if you don't mind, we can get into the questioning.
Absolutely, that's fine.
Can you tell us about your position at the library and what types of research you do or tasks that you do at the library?
So as the branch manager here at the Lexington Park Library, I oversee the running of the library, the facility itself, of our staff here, both our program and collection librarians and our circulation assistants. And so what we do is reach out to the community, make sure that we have materials and resources that the community wants and needs. Make sure that they have programs and other events that they're interested in and that serve our community needs as a whole. As much as we can, we try to help solve problems with other organizations in our community as much as our mission contributes to that.
Nice. Excellent. Thank you. So let's move on to the next one. So what has been your experience with book censorship?
As branch manager, sometimes those will come to me. Sometimes customers will be taken aback or distressed or by something that they might read or view one of our materials, and most of the time what we will do is just talk together with our customers, get an understanding of what it is that they are concerned about and why the concern. If there's a desire on their part to review the material in a more formal way, we'll do that, and we'll review the material and judge it against our selection policy and see how it fits and respond to the customer if they are interested in doing a more sort of formal consideration of a particular item that we have.
Nice, thank you. And you mentioned your selection policy.
Yes.
Could you briefly describe that for us?
Certainly, and that follows along a lot of the guidelines of the American Library Association, which is our professional organization as librarians. And so we select things widely that are going to be of interest to the community, of interest in the news. Mm-hmm. We make sure to represent multiple points of view because that's important in a community as diverse as ours, of course. We look for things that have reviews that are timely, are accurate, and again that have attributes that make them suitable for our collection. Nice. But again, we make sure that we represent a wide number of views because we want to make sure that people have things that they want to read, but also have the opportunity to be exposed to something different.
Yeah, and I'd imagine with kind of an age range of 8 to 80, you have every kind of book imaginable.
Exactly, and actually our age range starts at birth. We start with baby story time on up through the entire spectrum of ages. We serve everyone in our community. Excellent.
No, thank you. That's so important. So how do you feel about book censorship in general?
In general, I'm a librarian, of course, so in my professional ethics, book censorship is not what we are looking for. We're looking to be able to offer multiple points of view so that people can consider things from every side of an issue. Mm-hmm. Being able to look at arguments, read them, evaluate them, judge them against other works of fiction or nonfiction, and to have people be able to evaluate and analyze those for themselves, that's something that I feel is very important. And censorship takes away from that ability for the individual to choose on his or her own.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that censorship takes away part of the discussion or like a debate on any particular topic?
Well, sometimes it can actually bring up a debate, where someone is concerned about a particular thing that could be in books or movies, or any other kind of resource that the library provides, and so there's an opportunity there to have a community conversation, something that's on a larger level, so that people can talk together about, well, what's important in our community, what's a current issue, how can we see from different sides of this. And you'll see this kind of community conversation in libraries everywhere. We recently had a hot topics in community issues forum not that long ago, I guess in January, where people are able to come in and talk about different perspectives on a topic. And that's kind of what we see the library's role is, to facilitate those conversations so that people can learn from each other and communities can grow.
Okay, thank you. And if you don't mind my asking, what was the topic in January? So that was just last month?
Yes, so the controversial, and that was issues in safety and justice. Policing tactics. How can police be safe? How can residents be safe without encountering some of the bias that we read about in the news? What are ways that communities can work together so that to solve some of those issues? And so there's a very good discussion around that.
Yeah. No, definitely a lot about that, and the media as well. Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with the removal of Song of Solomon by Toni Morrison in the area?
Not particularly. I know that in the 90s it was a topic, I think for the public schools, but they have a separate process from us, a separate mission than say the public libraries do. So I really couldn't comment on that, unfortunately.
No, that's quite all right. Thank you. Do you know if any teachers are using Song of Solomon now?
I do not know. That's one that we carry here at the public library. But teachers, for the public schools, their decision is, it's up to them to include that in their curriculum or not. But that is one that we carry.
No, excellent. Thank you.
I had one more question that's not on there.
Of course.
So I was watching a video that someone posted on Reddit, which was from the St. Mary's County forum in general. I'm not exactly sure what the format was, but they were talking about a banned book display that you guys had here. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience with the community being upset about it and how things were handled?
Oh, sure. Well, so that's a banned books display is a traditional outlet for libraries to bring up these kinds of conversations about censorship, about First Amendment freedoms to read. Those First Amendment freedoms have been affirmed over and over again in the courts. And so libraries, we celebrate that First Amendment and how we are able to meet the needs of many people who, including people who might not see eye to eye. And so that particular incident was, again, bringing up kind of a conversation in our community about what are the kinds of materials that we should have available for young people, for grown-ups as well, and in particular about that, we just go kind of along with the theme of the American Library Association with banned books, and so we draw from some of their resource lists of things that have been challenged in schools or libraries across the country. And what we found actually was that it started a lot of conversations between customers, between parents and kids about what is something appropriate to read, what is something that is okay for to have at the library or at our house, or what are First Amendment freedoms that are guaranteed by our Constitution. And so we just witnessed lots of conversations between people here at the library about that. So we're glad to have families talking together about what are freedoms, where can freedoms be restricted, what is reading good for, what are things that our family wants to read and discuss, and in that way it's a really terrific opportunity for people to talk together about books. And that's exactly what we want to do, is have people get together, talk, and create a community around books.